Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and as you can see we have a change of railroad on my table here. Have my good old home railroad Grand Trunk Western. Those of you that have been on the channel for a while, I have done some videos on some of my Grand Trunk stuff, my plans. I've talked about my plans for my future layout. It will be the area that I grew up around in Michigan and modeling a lot of that stuff in the late 80s. And so I still have a lot of UP stuff out and about right now because I'm still doing some stuff with that. But I have some pretty decent projects that I want to tackle with some of my Grand Trunk stuff. We got some new stuff in. You guys can see the blue hoppers in the background. Had those in a unboxing video not too terribly long ago. And then I just have some things that I kind of want to work on some of this power and some of my rolling stock. So we're going to dive into some of this stuff for quite a while. A lot of videos to come. Little history for anyone who doesn't really know my history with the Grand Trunk. I grew up in Pontiac, Michigan, and around Detroit as a kid, and got to see, I think I got to see almost every single one of these locomotives that I actually have out here today, which is pretty cool. And I even got to see this wedge plow and this Jordan spreader in person. I got to see a lot of this stuff in person. 1512 back there, I actually got a cab ride in that as a young boy, back in the day. So that was pretty cool. So a lot of history with the Grand Trunk. Grew up watching it, loving it. This railroad got me into trains as a kid. And then also a lot of the auto industry in Michigan and around Pontiac. Grew to love watching that kind of stuff. So I have very deep roots with the Grand Trunk Western. That's the railroad I grew up on. That's the railroad that got me into trains and model railroading and rail fanning and pretty much started the whole thing. So something that I don't remember if I showed on the channel, I do have a new clock. I did get a beautiful Grand Trunk clock, so that's pretty cool. But yes, as much as I do love the Union Pacific, and I do love modeling the Union Pacific, love it dearly, Grand Trunk is where my roots lie and where I got my beginnings. So a lot of this good old stuff that's no longer around, a lot of this stuff that I used to watch as a kid, a lot of these units that I either got to sit in or ride in or see, period. A lot of history, a lot of love for this railroad, and of course I'm going to be dedicating my layout to that. That being said, yes, I am modeling specific locations and a specific era, but it's going to be my layout, and of course we will be running all of the other equipment that I have, including my BNSF stuff and whatever else I have. But the layout itself will be based on and around Pontiac, Michigan, north of Pontiac, past Oxford, Michigan, and me and my good friend who helped me come up with the plans, we're also starting to work on extending a couple areas to get a little bit further north, and model a couple other things that I wanted to kind of get in on. And I do need to show those plans. I talked about that the last time and I never got around to showing the plans, so sometime in a video soon I will get the plans laid out and kind of show you guys what I got going on. Some of you I kind of walked you through on my laptop a while back ago, of the areas that I'm modeling. I might bring that back and do that again, just to kind of show the areas a little bit better. I did find out how to, since I did that last video, I have found out how to use the, oh, what do they call it? The date. You can go back in time on Google Earth and look at stuff fairly easily. So I think I'm going to use that feature and kind of show you guys a little bit better. A lot of the stuff that I tried showing in a modern day sense on there was long gone, so I feel like if I can show you guys the plans and then take you back onto my computer and run everyone through, get everyone caught up on what my future plans are for a layout. Actual construction of a layout is still very far off. There's still a lot of planning I need to do. I want to make sure these plans are 100% before I make any final decisions on anything. And then, of course, just time to get the wood, get the track, and all that stuff. So still very far off in the future. It's probably going to turn into a retirement project, honestly, but I'm very happy to have my good friend of mine helping me with this. He also grew up in Michigan. We both grew up on the same subdivision, the Holly subdivision in Michigan. Some of you watching might know that. Some of you might not. For those of you who don't, I will catch you up on kind of what my plans are. But for now, I have some big projects coming up, and our first projects are going to be these two former DT&I GT patched locomotives, 6416 and 6422. So I don't remember which one of these it was. Actually, it was one of these. One of these had ditch lights. If you guys have seen my videos, you remember when I bought these, one of them had ditch lights. It was this unit right here. So this unit, I think it was this one that came without DCC and sound. This one came with Tsunami 1, and I had to kind of try to source somewhat of a correct sound for this one, so I actually used a panel out of a DD40 of all things to try to get that sound. It's close, but it's not close enough for my liking. So these two units both are going to be completely revamped. As they sit right now, both of the panels in them are Tsunami 1. They start out at a different speed from the Tsunami 2, and even my SD38s back here that have that Economy sound. So I'm doing full upgrades on this. I wasn't too happy with kind of how I had to cobble together a speaker situation in this locomotive, and I actually did remedy that. But we're going to take it a step further, and we are completely replacing the internals in these locomotives. And I have two donor frames right here, two brand new donor frames. And yes, I did buy SD40-2's two parts out specifically for these. I do that type of stuff. I'm kind of weird like that. So all of the internals in these are going to be swapped over. Now, it's not going to be just as easy as a shell swap, because these are they're what Athearn calls primed and grime, but these units were actually done before they kind of trademarked that. But they are you can see the difference between, shiny black and then this kind of like dirty black. So the frame is the same color, so I'm basically going to have to strip those frames completely down, and then just strip everything out of here that I'm going to transfer over there so I can keep the dirty frames. And then the wires, I'm going to have to unsolder these longer leads right here that go to the front trucks, because the panels that are in here are a front and rear track pickup. These newer panels are only a rear track pickup that I've talked about before. So I'm going to have to unsolder these wires from the pickups on the trucks and then resolder them back onto those. Because I can't swap anything low end over to those. It's all just going to be, all the internal works is going to be put into those. So these are from newer Athearn run. I think just this year or last year is what these frames are from. Actually, they're from last year. The panels on them say 24. You guys can see upside down 24. So these are really new, and I want to upgrade these. And there's a couple other little things that I want to do on these as well. They do not have the correct all-weather windows. Now, they do have the correct all-weather windows if they were post-repaint. Once Grand Trunk repainted these in the iconic red, blue, and white, they had put the normal-sized all-weather windows on them, but with these being former DT&I units, and with these still being pre-repaint, they still had the extended all-weather window that came clear back to the back of the cab, and was basically a three-pane setup, a three-window pane setup, longer than what they needed to be, but that's what DT&I had on those. So I have those we're going to swap out. I'm going to paint, weather the wheels, paint and weather the couplers, and just take care of a couple little things. I do need to figure out the LED situation with these, because as they stand right now, these are both incandescent bulbs, except for the strobes, which are LED, but the headlights are incandescent bulbs. So I am going to have to try to go through my LEDs, and I might have to drill, and because I don't really have the long shanked lenses anymore. I have some inserts that I might be able to work with, and a couple other things. So either way, I'm going to make it work. These are going to get LEDs, all new sound systems, new panels. I'm even swapping over the motors, so that way the motors are new in them. I did buy both of these used earlier in the year, and I did do unboxings of these. If you guys want to kind of go back through my videos and find that stuff, and see what they looked like when I first pulled them out. They were both in good condition. Just one had no DCC or sound, and the other one has Tsunami 1, and now they both have Tsunami 1, so I want to upgrade those to Tsunami 2 so I can run them with my other Jeeps out there. Of course, my Walther's Jeep 9s run at a different speed, but eventually, like I've talked about in the past, eventually I will have a DCC setup and get a better computer with a program on it and do some speed matching. But for right now, I'm just trying to match what I have in the other units. My three SD40-2s back here that are in the paint are all Tsunami 2. And then the same with my GP38s. Those are all Tsunami 2. And if you guys remember from my unboxing of 53, that locomotive had a lot of issues. And that locomotive that you see sitting there is not that same locomotive. I was able to source a brand new, unopened, unused model from Canada. Very expensive with all of the tariff stuff going on right now, but I was able to get one out of Canada. So that is just a brand new unit sitting right there. That is not the same one with all of the glue on the other side of the cab. If you guys haven't seen that video, go back and check that out. That locomotive was really messed up. So so we got a new one of those in the fleet. So I have all three of the 75th anniversary Grand Trunk Western GP 38-2s that Athearn came out with a few years back. And we'll kind of go through some of this stuff. You guys can see my Heritage unit, my CN Heritage unit kind of sit in the back. I'm going to do a couple things to that one too. Kind of make it a little bit more cool. But for right now, my main focus is on these two units. And then some other units that I'm going to see about upgrading are my DWP units back there. Those are two SD40-2s from Athearn RTR. Now, those do have factory-installed DCC and sound. Those were the first runs from quite a while back when Athearn started to put DCC and sound in their RTR stuff. Now, this stuff did not have windshield wipers. I added the windshield wipers. As you guys saw with my Union Pacific 3593, the Desert Victory unit, I took off the plastic windshield wipers that I had put on there and replaced them with the nice metal etched ones. So I'm going to be doing the same for those. Now they do have DCC and sound, like I said, but it is a very old version of DCC and sound. It's even far behind the economy sound that these RTR units have here. So I think we're going to do a little panel swapping around with some of my units, and we're going to get some better sound in those and most likely upgrade those to LED lights too, because of course those are incandescents. So I have a lot of work coming, guys, a lot of stuff that I want to take care of, but we're going to start by diving into these two units, and I think what I'm going to start with first is removing everything off of these frames that I'm going to wind up using in those units, and then I'll get the trucks off of the front trucks off of both of or all 4 of these frames here, and we'll like I said, I'll unsolder these wires from the pickups and unsolder the wires, the shorter leads on these, and then swap those around. I'm going to do that in one go, just that way my soldering iron's already out and heated up for those projects. So I'm basically going to take everything apart, and then we'll go from there. So hopefully you guys, some of you that are more into some history and some older Fallen Flag stuff, will enjoy some of the Grand Trunk stuff. Like I said, I still have a lot of UP stuff for you. For any of you guys who are really into the UP stuff, do not worry. I still have a ton of it sitting out here, a ton of it left to work on, and some more things to go through there. But like I said, I want to get some of this Grand Trunk stuff worked on right now, and that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully you guys are excited, and let me know what you think. And until next time, take care.